learn about the symbols. So what is symbol? Basically, it is the short form of element, right? Symbol is nothing but a short form of element for chemistry. Okay. Now, of course, it is not possible to remember all the names or to learn all the names of the elements or to write that name repeatedly, right? So what scientists thought that we should have some short forms or some symbols. Okay. So qualitative and quantitative meaning of the term. Okay. Now, what does the symbol represent? It represents a specific element or an atom of an element. Right? Now, for example, we know that O stands for oxygen, C stands for carbon, Al stands for aluminium. Right? So, the symbol means nothing but the short form of an element, or it represents the specific element or an atom. Okay. Now, introduction to the concept of a symbol. Many scientists have contributed their knowledge for this, inventing these symbols or to have the symbols for each and every element. So, first was John Dalton. Okay, John Dalton was the first who suggested the figurative symbols. Means what? To draw some figures to represent a symbol. Now here you can see that oxygen is given by a circle, hydrogen is given by a circle and a point in it. Sulfur is given by making 4 parts of that circle. But every time it is not possible to draw these figures or to remember these figures, right? As you can see, for example, if I want to represent any kind of molecule, then that number of circles will be more. So it will consume my time also and my space also. So that figurative symbols were discarded. Okay, it was not very much comfortable or it was not easy to write that, or it was consuming many white space on the piece of paper. Okay, so the figurative, what we can say, figurative representation was discarded. Next, Berzelius. Now, what Berzelius told, a simple system for representing elements with symbols. He put forward certain points for presentation. Okay. So what he told, he, instead of figurative representation, we can write the first letter of an element. For example, carbon. So C-A-R-B-O-N. So first letter is carbon. So C will represent that carbon. O will represent that oxygen. Okay. Now, there was some problem with the, what we can say, with the names which were starting by same letter. For example, if you take calcium and carbon. Now, if I write C for both calcium and carbon, then how will I know what it is? Is it carbon or is it calcium? So what he again suggested, that we can use the next letter of that word, right? Next letter of that word. So he written C for carbon and Ca for calcium. Okay. Now this was for the calcium or carbon or all that. But there were some symbols or some elements which were given the symbols by their Latin name. Okay. For example, silver. Now, Argentinum is its Latin name. So, what was the symbol? Ag was the symbol. Okay. Next, mercury is known as hydro. It is not visible there. Do you have book with you, textbooks?
No, miss.
No, miss.
Okay, fine. For example, gold is there. So gold is aurum. Okay, aurum is the Latin word for gold. So Au symbol was used. Okay, till here it is clear.
Yes, miss. Yes,
So
ma'am.
what was the first method? First method was figurative, but figurative representation was not easy to draw or to represent the element. So scientist Berzelius give the idea to have the symbols by the name of first letter of that element. Okay. So after that also he faced some problem for carbon, calcium, the elements which were having same starting letter. So what he have done, he has used the second letter also to give their symbols. And next was the some elements were derived from their Latin names. So elements were given the symbols of Latin words. Okay. So this is all about the symbol, or this is the concept for symbol. Okay. Now what is the valency? Now this page is clear to you. It is visible. I think this page is not that much blur. Okay. Now valency. Now can you tell me what is valency? Anyone? Tanisha, Aditya, anyone can tell me what is valency?
Miss,
Shruti.
its ability to combine with the molecules of other elements.
Correct.
I
It is the
think the
combining
hydrogen.
capacity of an element to
Ma'am,
form a compound.
they
Right.
are
For example,
hydrogen. Ma'am, they are hydrogen atoms combined directly or indirectly to atom.
It is a number of hydrogen atoms which can combine with or displace with. Right. Now, for example, if I say that the carbon has 4 valency, means what? Carbon can combine with 4 other atoms or 4 other hydrogens to form a bond. Right. So, what is a valency? Basically, it is a combining capacity of an element with with any other element to form a compound. Or here it is given that the number of hydrogen atoms which can combine with or displace one atom of an element or radical so as to form a compound. So basically it is what? It is the ability to combine. It is ability to combine with, right? Now, the valency of all metals and hydrogen is considered as positive. So remember this point, that the valency for all metals and hydrogen is always positive. We have seen H plus, Na plus, K plus, Ca plus, right? So all the metals and hydrogen has a positive valency. This can come in your MCQ part. Okay. Next. The valency of all non-metals or groups of non-metals is
Your voice is not
negative. For
audible.
example, Cl minus. Now is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I told, the valency of metal and hydrogen is always positive. Okay. And the valency for non-metal is always negative. For example, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, all these are non-metals. Is it clear till here?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Now, valency of a metal is the number of electrons lost per atom of the metal. So what is valency of a metal? Means how much the electrons are lost. Okay. So for example, potassium, it loses its one electron. Okay. Means what? It can form one bond, right? So it is univalent in nature. What is the meaning of word univalent? One valency, or the atoms which are having one valency are known as univalent atoms or elements. Okay. So K, if it loses its one electron, so it will have one positive charge. One positive charge. So it is univalent in nature. Okay. Next is magnesium. Now magnesium can lose 2 electrons. So it is Mg2 plus. It is divalent. Since it can lose 2 electrons, it is divalent in nature. Okay. Aluminium. It can lose 3 electrons. So it is trivalent. Can anyone tell me the example of an element having tetravalency? Tetravalency means having 4 valency.
Can you
Silicon.
just explain this again?
Yeah. See, potassium is what? Potassium is losing its 1 electron. So it is univalent. Okay, 1 plus.
But how will it lose an electron?
Because it is a metal, potassium. It is a metal. Here it is given no. Metal is the number of valence electrons lost per atom. The one which loses the electrons are metals, right?
Miss, your voice is not clear.
Correct?
Miss, your voice is not clear.
Now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you can hear me correctly?
Sulfur.
Yes, ma'am.
Sulfur.
Okay, wait, I will explain her first. Okay, so see, metals, they have the tendency to lose the electrons, right? So since they lose the electrons, their valency is 1, 2, 3 or 4. Okay, so here potassium is having a tendency to lose 1 electron. So it is univalent in nature. Okay, कोणी विचारलेला doubt? Who asked me?
मॅम मी
Wait, I will-
आदित्य.
आदित्य, तू विचारलेला. कळलं का आदित्य?
हो मॅम कळालं.
हाँ, magnesium कसं आहे? It loses 2 electrons. That's why it is divalent. Aluminium,
Yes, ma'am.
it loses 3 electrons, so it is trivalent. So is it clear to everyone? Tanisha, Sharma,
Yes, ma'am.
miss.
Maitri, Shruti.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the case for metals. Now we will see valency of non-metal. Now we know that metals have tendency to lose the electrons. Non-metals have tendency to gain the electrons. Okay, so here we know that chlorine, what is the electronic configuration for chlorine? Can anyone? Chlorine, to complete its octet, it
19.
requires 1 electron. Barabar? It requires 1 electron. So chlorine will gain 1 electron. 2, 7. Right? So chlorine,
Ma'am, I think electronic configuration of chlorine is 17.
it is atomic number.
Configuration is 287.
Ah, yes, ma'am.
287. That's what. Okay. So to complete its octet, it will require 1 electron. Okay. So the chlorine will gain 1 electron. That's why it is again univalent in nature. So what is the basic difference? Metal, it has tendency to lose the electron, and non-metals has the tendency to gain the electrons. Okay. So valency for non-metal depends on how much number of atoms are gained by the how much number of electrons are gained by that element. कळलं इथपर्यंत?
हो.
इज इट क्लिअर? हा.
Yes.
Yes, miss.
ओके.
Miss, can
Now
you just
next.
explain it again?
आदित्य का?
Yes.
Okay. So see, non-metal, it gains the electron. Okay. So
Actually,
why?
internet connection.
You are having issue with your network.
मला थोडा
Okay. Okay. So non-metals, non-metals have the tendency to gain the electrons, right? So chlorine, it requires one electron to complete its octet. So the valency for chlorine is
voice
1. So it is univalent. बाकीच्यांना ऐकू येते का?
क्लिअर नाही आहे.
हो मॅम, ऐकू येतंय क्लिअर.
हां, तेच ना. Else everyone is audible, means my voice is audible to you, no?
हो मॅम, ऐकू येतंय.
हाँ. Aditya, please check with your internet connection.
Ma'am, internet.
Now next topic is variable valency. Now what do you mean by variable valency? Means having one or more valencies. Okay. Now certain metals exhibit more than one valency, hence showing variable valency. Okay. Now why? What is the reason behind showing the variable valency? An atom of an element can sometimes lose more electrons than are present in its valence shell. Okay. म्हणजे if one element loses more than one electron, then it is known as, then that element will have variable valency. Okay. In its valence shell, that is loss from penultimate shell. What is penultimate shell? The second last shell. Yes.
माझ्या कनेक्शनचा प्रॉब्लेम झाला म्हणून मला काय ऐकू नव्हतं येत.
बर, आता येते का ऐकू?
हो, आता झालं.
Okay. So what is variable valency? Means if some element loses more than one electron, then that element will have more than one valency. Okay. So why it shows more than one valency? Because it can lose more than one electron from its valence shell. Okay. And also it can lose electron from its penultimate shell. What is penultimate shell? Second last shell of an atom, of an element, is known as penultimate shell, and hence exhibit more than one variable valency. ठीक है? कळलं? मग what is variable valency? Variety of valencies, that is more than one valency is there. Okay. So that the atom can lose electrons from its valence shell also, or it can lose the electrons from its penultimate shell also. What is the meaning of word penultimate? The second last shell. Okay. For example, cuprous and cupric. So always remember the smaller valency is denoted by the word OUS. For example, cuprous, so the valency is +1. Okay. Cupric, the valency is +2. Okay. Ferrous आणि फेरिक माहिती आहे ना सगळ्यांना? आयर्न, फेरस आणि फेरिक.
हो.
हा, सो फेरसला कोणती व्हॅलेन्सी असते? +2
2.
आणि फेरिकला इट इज ऑलवेज +3.
Three.
+3. So these are the examples for variable valencies. Okay. कळलं मग इथपर्यंत? सिम्बॉल काय असतं, व्हॅलेन्सी काय असतं, व्हॉट इज द व्हॅलेन्सी फॉर मेटल्स, व्हॉट इज द व्हॅलेन्सी फॉर नॉन मेटल्स, व्हॉट इज द व्हॅलेन्सी फॉर व्हॉट इज व्हेरिएबल व्हॅलेन्सी. ओके. आता तुम्हाला एक्झाम मध्ये असं दे कॅन आस्क यू द क्वेश्चन की राईट डाऊन द एक्झाम्पल फॉर व्हेरिएबल व्हॅलेन्सी. ओके. सो means what? You have to show the elements which are having the valency more than 1. Okay. Now next is radicals. A radical is a group of atoms of elements that behaves like single unit and shows a valency. There are two types of radicals, positive radicals and negative radicals. Okay, positive radicals means what? Having positive charge, and negative radicals means what? Having negative charge. For example, OH minus. Okay, now if I take the example of NaOH. Okay, so there are two types of radicals are involved. Na is there and OH minus is there, right? So Na plus OH minus. So Na plus is my positive radical and OH minus is my negative radical. Okay. So what is a radical? It is a group of atoms of elements that behaves like a single unit and shows a valency. Now here I can say hydroxide. It is a group of oxygen and hydrogen, and this 1 minus, it shows the valency. Color, it shows the valency. Again, ammonium is there, so it is a group of NH4 and it shows the valency, that is 1 plus. So there are two types of radicals, positive radical and negative radical. And what is the meaning of word radical? It is the group of one or more elements which shows the valency, and also it shows the valency. Okay. An element is referred as monoatomic when it exists as a single atom and represented by a single symbol of the element. For example, sodium, potassium. So why it is monoatomic? Because only one atom is present. So what is the meaning of word mono? Means one or a single. Okay. So the element is referred as monoatomic when it exists in a single form, single atom. Okay. Next, when an element exists as a molecule, a number representing its atomicity is written as a subscript after the symbol of the element, thereby representing its formula. Means what? Hydrogen. We know that hydrogen, oxygen, these are diatomic in nature. Means what? Two atoms are always present. कधी बघितलंय का फक्त H असलेलं?
No, miss.
कधीच there is no possibility to find only H. It is always H2 for hydrogen. For oxygen, it is always O2. That's why we say that hydrogen, oxygen, these are all in diatomic form, or they are diatomic in nature. N2, it is again diatomic in nature. Okay. Next, a compound contains whole number of atoms of a component elements, indicating that the elements are in chemical combination, thereby representing a molecular formula. Now, What is a molecular formula? It is nothing but the group of 2 or more atoms or 2 or more elements. Now, here calcium carbonate. What is the formula for calcium carbonate? CaCO3. Now, calcium carbonate is a compound. If I want to find the atomicity, then what I will say? The atomicity for CaCO3 is 4. का बरं असं? Why is it so? Because in CaCO3, one atom is of calcium and 3 atoms are 1 atom of calcium and carbon and 3 atoms of oxygen. So its atomicity will be 5. Sorry, its atomicity will be 5. So I can say 1 atom of calcium, 1 atom of carbon and 3 atoms of oxygen. CaCO3. कळलं का? So the compound contains whole number of atoms of the component elements, indicating that the elements are in chemical combination. So I can say that calcium, carbon, oxygen all are in chemical combination with each other. Means what? They are chemically combined with each other. कळलं इथपर्यंत? Next. A molecular formula also indicates the number of units of radicals present in a compound with the proper subscript outside the unit of radical. Now, CaOH twice. Now, this OH twice, you can see 2 is written outside that OH. Right? Calcium hydroxide, 2 is written outside or it is written in subscript. Okay. So OH is what? My radical is there. OH is my negative radical. Okay. Calcium ची valency काय आहे? What is the valency for calcium? Yes, anyone knows what is the valency for calcium? The valency for calcium is 2. That's why it is CaOH twice. तुम्हाला क्रिस क्रॉस मेथड शिकवली असेल ना स्कूल मध्ये?
Yes.
श्रुती, मैत्री, ऐकू येते ना? हाँ. मध्ये मध्ये जरा रिप्लाय द्यायचा म्हणजे कळतं की यू आर देअर. काय कळलं का? So what is a chemical for element or compound could be represented by symbols. Representation known as chemical formula. Means if I write like this, if I write water, right? So water, its formula is H2 and O, right? So H2O is my chemical formula for water. सगळ्यांना दिसतंय ना हे? If I write
Yes, ma'am.
calcium
Yes, ma'am.
carbonate or calcium hydroxide, so it will be
CaOH2.
CaOH twice. Okay. If I write calcium carbonate,
CaCO3.
CaCO3.
calcium carbonate, so it will be CaCO3. So these are my chemical formulas or chemical formula. What the chemical formula represents? It represents the group of molecules, right? It represents the group of molecules. molecules. कळलं इथपर्यंत? Now,
हो मॅम.
what is your today's homework? You have to learn this valency chart. Okay, you have to learn this valency chart. In next lecture, I am going to check कि valencies येतात का नाही. I am going to ask you. Okay. So try to learn this. Chalo.
Yes,
So
yes.
we'll quickly revise all the things that we have done today, and then we'll go further. What is a symbol? It is a short form of an element. What it represents? It represents the specific element or an atom, right? Who introduced the concept for symbol? Scientist John Dalton. He represented the figurative representation of an element, but it was not easy, so that method was discarded. So next, Berzelius, he suggested that we will give the name of the letter of first name, first letter of the name of the element. कोणाला आवाज क्लिअर नाहीये? आदित्य,
आवाज नाही ते लाईन बस हे सगळं.
ठीक आहे. मग हा ते ब्लर आहे जरा. मग Berzelius suggested to have the symbols by using the names of the elements. So he used first letter of the elements. जिथे पण same letters येत होते, he again used second letter of that elements, of the name of that elements. For some elements, their Latin name, and from that Latin name, symbols were introduced. Okay. Next is valency. What is the definition for valency? It is the combining capacity of an element to form a compound. Okay. So for metals and hydrogen, the valency is always positive, and for non-metals, it is always negative. The elements having valency 1 are univalent, which are having 2 is divalent, and which are having 3 are trivalent. Okay. Same with the case of non-metals also. Also, some elements can have variable valency, means having more than one valency. The small number, if it is 2 and 3, the small number is 2. It is represented by OUS, and big number, that is 3, it is represented by IC. Okay. For example, iron is there. It has 2 valencies, +2 and +3. So +2 is +3. Okay. Next is radicals. What are radicals? It is a group of atoms of elements that behave as a single unit, and it shows the valency. There are 2 types of radicals, positive radicals and negative radicals. So positive radicals having positive sign is positive radical, which has negative sign, they are negative radicals. Next is chemical formula. What is chemical formula? A molecule of a substance, that is element or compound, could be written what to represent something with the symbol is known as chemical formula. Okay. Okay, clear है इथपर्यंत? If anyone is having any kind of doubt, you can ask me. कळतंय ना शिकवलेलं? नुसतं ब्लाइंडली फॉलो नाही करायचं.
हो मॅम कळतंय.
हा. Okay. Now we'll see what are compounds. Okay. हा, काय कोणाला प्रॉब्लेम नाही ना? Okay. Now compounds. What is the meaning of a word compound? A pure substance composed of 2 or more elements. Okay. For example, if I say water, so it consists of hydrogen and oxygen. So it is a water is a compound. Combined chemically in a fixed proportion. in fixed proportion it is combined. असं कधी आपण बघतो का की in water there are 3 atoms of oxygen? No, only and only 2O always. कळलं का? It is always H2O. कधी H2O3 बघितलंय का? होतं का असं कधी? No, it never happens, right? Every chemical compound has its fixed proportion. कळलं? So what is a compound? The compound is a substance which is composed of 2 or more elements with fixed proportion. कळलं? With fixed proportion. Now, for example, H2O, composed of 2 elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Elements combined in a fixed proportion by weight. Properties of water are different from those of constituent elements. Means what? The properties of hydrogen, oxygen and water are different. They are not same. You can see that hydrogen and oxygen, they are gaseous in nature, right? But water is liquid in nature. So त्याच्या properties काय different आहे. Constituent elements आणि त्यांच्या properties are always different. ते कधी सेम असतात का? नाही. कळलं? Now, what are the characteristics of compound? Components are present in definite proportion. Components are always in a definite proportion. कधी असं नसतं की फॉर एक्झाम्पल NaOH आहे तर आपण NaOH ट्वाइस लिहितो का कधी? No. It is always NaOH only. One atom of Na and one atom of OH. Always one will only combine to form NaOH. Okay. Compound is always homogeneous. Now, what is homogeneous? What is homogeneous? In a single form, right? In a single form. Next, particles in a compound are of one kind. For example, they have given iron 3 sulfide. Composition cannot be varied, hence uniform composition. Components may not be seen separately. Okay. आता मी जर water घेतलं तर can I see hydrogen and oxygen separately? No, they are always in a combined form, in a homogeneous form. कळलं? Compound has a definite set of properties. Compounds have some of their own properties. The copyright is of them only. You and I can't change the properties of that elements. कळलं? Next. हाँ कौन है? Anyone is having any doubt?
No, miss. It happened by mistake.
Okay, okay. Fine. Components in a compound retain their original properties and can be separated only by chemical means. Means what? That the properties of compound and properties of components are always different. They are not same. And if I want to what we can say, if I want to separate the components, then I have to go in chemical way only. Chemically only I can separate those compounds. Iron 2 sulfide, for example, particles in iron sulfide are chemically combined and hence iron in iron 2 sulfide cannot be attracted by a magnet and does not give H2 gas insoluble in solvent CS2. Means what? They are chemically combined. So if I want to separate them, I have to use some chemical method only. कळलं मग? So what are compounds? Compounds are the pure substances which are composed of 2 or more elements and are in a fixed proportion. What are the characteristics for compounds? Components present in a definite proportion. The components of compounds are always in a definite proportion. They are homogeneous. The particles of the compound are of one kind. Okay. Compounds have some definite set of properties. Okay. And the compound and their components have different properties. Okay. If I want to separate the components from my compound, I cannot separate them. I can separate it, but by only a chemical means. कळलं इथपर्यंत? So what we saw today, we saw about symbols, we saw about valency, we saw about variable valency, we saw about radicals, we saw about chemical formula and also of compounds and their characteristics. कळलं का इथपर्यंत? शर्मत, आदित्य, मैत्रेय, अमूल्य,
ma'am.
श्रुती,
Yes, ma'am.
नक्की कन्फ्युज
Yes, ma'am.
नाही ना?
Yes, ma'am.
काही डाऊट नाही. Okay. Now here some compounds are given, some basic compounds that you should know. Acids are there, bases are there, salts are there. What are salts? It is a combination of acid and base. Okay. Hydrocarbons, combination of hydrogen and carbon. Alcohols. Okay. Now there are some steps to write the name of the compounds or to write the chemical formula of the compounds. Okay. So what are that steps? We'll see. Step 1. The positive atom or radical on the left side and the symbol of negative on the right side. Okay. So the one which has a positive sign must be on left hand side, and the one which has the negative sign should be always on the right hand side. Positive left hand side, negative right hand side. Step 2. Write the valency on the symbol of each atom, radical on its top right side. You should write the valency on the top of that element. Okay. Interchange of the valency number. Now this is the criss-cross method. You can see in that box 2 crosses there, right? So that is a criss-cross method. Means what? We are exchanging the valencies. Okay. Here you can see sodium has the valency 1, chlorine has the valency -1. Keep in mind, you don't have to consider any sign. Okay. Sign consider करायची नाही. Calcium again 2, SO3 is -2, but the sign is again discarded. So 2, 2. Chromium 3, SO4 2 minus. Now chromium has valency 3. It is exchanged with SO4. SO4 has valency 2. It is exchanged with chromium. Okay. Calcium has the valency 2. It is exchanged with HSO3, hydrogen sulfate. Okay. And 1 is exchanged with calcium. Okay. So NaCl, CaSO3, Cr2SO4 thrice, and CaHSO3 twice. So what are the 4 rules for writing the compound? First, remember, positive radical on left hand side, negative radical on right hand side. Valency should be written on the top of that element. Third step, you have to exchange the valencies. Sign consider करायचं नाही. Whether it is positive, it is negative, don't consider the sign. And at last, you have to write the formula by जिथे की valencies exchange झाले. कळलं इथपर्यंत? इज इट क्लिअर टिल हिअर?
मॅम
कोणाला डाऊट आहे?
मॅम मला मॅम सेकंड एकदा ते दाखवता का?
सेकंड हे
मॅम CaSO3 मध्ये मॅम नाही खाली ते
हा.
ह्याच्या क्रॉस
हा.
व्हॅलेन्सीज एक्सचेंज केले तर ते फॉर्म्युला मध्ये 2 का नाही आहे?
कारण ते सेमच आहे ना. 2 पण आहे आणि 2 आहे की नाही दोन्हीकडे. जिथे पण असं येतं कंडिशन की Ca2 is there and SO3 2 is there, so you have to consider that 2 by 2 is equal to 1. कळलं का? n by n is equal to 1. सेम नंबर्स असतील, you don't have to write that. कळलं का आदित्य?
Yes, ma'am.
आणि मला नाही सांगायचं, नाव घेत जा, इथे दिसत नाहीत कोण बोलतंय. कळलं इथपर्यंत मग? Now next. Rules in naming certain chemical compounds containing a metal and non-metal. आता असं असेल, आता we have to write a combination. So if two metals are present, one metal and one non-metal is present, so metal is always written first and then non-metal with the suffix IDE. For example, NaCl is there, right? Wait. For example, NaCl is there. Okay. So in NaCl, sodium is metal. So I will write first sodium, and chlorine is there, which is non-metal. So I will write CHLORIDE, sodium chloride. Okay. If I want to write potassium iodide, so what I will write? Potassium iodide. If I want to write KCl, then it will be potassium chloride. So keep in mind, whenever there is one metal and one non-metal, you always have to write first metal, then non-metal with IDE as a suffix. With IDE as a suffix. कळलं? ठीक है? So this was the rule for the compounds containing one metal and one non-metal. Next, if two non-metals are present. Now what to do if two non-metals are present? Non-metals written side by side and given the prefix mono, di, tri, etc. denoting the number of atoms. Here you can see oxides of nitrogen. If N2O is there, how many nitrogens are there? 2 nitrogens are there. So I will always write dinitrogen oxide, from which I will know that there are 2 atoms of nitrogen. NO is there, nitrogen monoxide. Nitrogen monoxide. N2O3 is there, so dinitrogen trioxide. So the दोन्ही metals असतील तेवढं टाकायची गरज नाही. फक्त you have to write the how many atoms are there. Okay. आणि NO आहे तर ऑफकोर्स सोडियम आधी नायट्रोजन आधी येणार आणि ऑक्सिजनच नंतर येणार. सो यू हॅव टू गो बाय अ सिक्वेन्स. कळलं का? कन्फ्युज व्हायचं नाही. रूल्स कशात आहेत? इफ देअर इज वन मेटल अँड वन नॉन मेटल. कळलं इथपर्यंत? Now next, if two elements and oxygen is there. If two elements and oxygen is there. So you have to write first two elements side by side, and oxygen is always written after it with suffix ate and ite. Ate and ite. Now, if this is there, if potassium chlorate is there. Now, why I have written potassium chlorate? So my formula will be KClO3. So if the number of oxygen is more than 1, then you have to use rate, ATE for oxygen. Okay. So first potassium will come, chloro will come, and RATE. So that ATE represents the number of oxygen atoms. If it is more than 1, you have to use ATE suffix. Okay. If it is KClO2, KClO is there, sorry, KClO is there, then what will be my name? Potassium chloride. Potassium chloride. Okay. कळलं इथपर्यंत? अरे हो नाही झोपले काय सगळे?
Miss.
कळलं ना?
Yeah.
हाँ. So if one metal and one non-metal is there, then first you have to write metal, then non-metal, and you have to end with the suffix IDE. Okay. If two non-metals are there, then you have to write it by a sequence. Only you have to show how many atoms are there. Di, tri, mono, etc. If two elements and one oxygen is there, then you have to write first two elements, then oxygen. And while naming it, you have to see the number of oxygens. If it is with more oxygen, then you have to use ATE. If it is less than one oxygen, the one with less oxygen, then you have to use ITE. कळलं इथपर्यंत?